Let's go, Arkansas fans. You got to go on the road to Klanga, Mississippi State. The Cowbells are going to be vicious, and we're going to break down what you need to do to win this game. So let's start with the blatant, obvious truth. Turnovers, right? That gets a little cliche at times. You can't turn the football over, but Mississippi State has done a really good job of this. There's Mississippi State getting another pick, and this is two teams that are in the opposite direction when it comes to turnovers, right? Mississippi State, they've had at least 2 in their last 3 games, and you got to think the level of competition has been good. Texas A&M, Texas, and Georgia, at least 2 turnovers. That's pretty impressive, including this INT in the background. And as many Arkansas fans know, outside of the Tennessee game, you've had at least 2 turnovers in 3 of your 4 Power 4 games, and 3 in 3 of 4. So you've got to take care of the football. So early in the season, Mississippi State had some of the worst rush defense you will ever see in the SEC. We already did a film breakdown on the single worst rush defense rep I've ever seen schematically from a team, but look at how much better they have gotten. So you take a look at this run, they should feel pretty good about their box numbers here. It is a too high safety look, but watch how this safety fills in the running game. This guy does a good job bouncing this run and just slowing things down, and this safety does a good job slowing Etienne down. They did call him for a face mask. It just kind of grazed. But you see how much more physical they were in their run defense compared to early in the season, where they were soft as hell. So those were the defensive positives. Let's move to the other side of the football, and then we'll get to where Arkansas can potentially exploit the Bulldogs. Booth has been amazing for the Bulldogs. I mean, take a look at this run. 21-20. I believe his name is Daniels. Pretty good player. Obviously, with this much space, you would like to see any running back make a safety miss, but Booth had a really good run on the play before this as well. And obviously, Van Buren can run as a quarterback. Yes, this is a quarterback getting down the field to help block. And as you can see, when it comes to running the football, Mississippi State, they don't have anyone like special at the running back position. But overall, these two guys are pretty solid players. So as many Arkansas fans know, first play of the game, LSU hit Arkansas with this play, and Mississippi State is doing this as well. It's a little running back throw into the flat where you're getting a bunch of pick actions over here, and if you're in man coverage, it's tough to sort through all of that, and that's why this guy is this wide open. Look for Mississippi State to run this play because it literally was the first play on the film versus Arkansas, okay? And obviously this one is very different, but this play is also more effective if you are running it versus a blitz. Obviously Arkansas is bringing a blitz here, and there you go, running back into the flats, got to get off blocks. And in this case, the design was more to screen the potential man defender across the way. That's not actually that too poorly defended by Arkansas, but you see the point. And this is what A&M wants to do. They want to make things easy for their freshman quarterback, Michael Van Buren, who's done some really good things. Play action, he's reading this safety right here. This safety flies into the box because Mississippi State, of course, had gotten some good runs going. So Van Buren pulls it. He likes this matchup. This DB gets turned around right here from the slot receiver. So this is an easy read. Van Buren this year, a lot of the throws have been things that were schemed open like that touchdown you just saw. But you could see, he throws a somewhat pretty ball, right? Leads number 3. Obviously, he could have hit him in stride for a tutty, but you see the point. He is a solid quarterback, especially for a freshman. I know this is garbage time, but man, this was a really good rep. Georgia still has a lot of their good players out there. This is honestly really good blitz pickup. And look at this throw right here from Michael Van Buren, okay? Obviously, a lot of quarterback coaches would talk about the footwork here. It is a little jumpy in a relatively clean pocket, but it doesn't matter. He resets his feet, and he does eventually throw a freaking dime right here down the sideline to Uno, right, who's been a pretty solid receiver for them. Look at this ball location, good hand fighting, and you get a nice touchdown throw right there. Very impressive. So let's get to here. Obviously, as a freshman quarterback, he's here looking right. First off, this blitz pickup is really good. Again, versus Georgia, they pick up all the stunts and everything. He does take his eyes off this right here. This could have been thrown, and this could still be thrown across his body, but you just want to take these yards if they're given to you. So you do see that he has some ability with his legs as well. Arkansas fans, I'm looking at you. We're about to get to the Mississippi State negatives and why I actually do believe Arkansas will win this game. But we want to welcome in our Arkansas partners here on Power Hour SEC. That is Sequoia Dental. Go on ahead, book your appointment today at sequoiadental.com. Let's go. Where you can beat Mississippi State is through the explosive passing game. They have had a lot, and I mean a lot of issues giving up the big ones, right? Even versus Florida early in the season, they hit explosive after explosive. Brylan Lassiter, number 3, the safety, got torched in this game, and the same thing is happening here versus Georgia. Now, I will say they did a lot better versus Texas A&M last week and giving up the explosive play. But this is the craziest thing I think I've ever seen in a game. Okay, I don't know if you guys had seen this yet, but he catches the ball and just lets him go. Okay, and Seven's like, what are you doing? Still the weirdest thing I think you'll ever see in a game. One design or just concept or idea that you're going to see Arkansas run versus Mississippi State is basically these kind of screen plays where it looks like the receiver is blocking at first, but instead he's actually going upfield, right? So you fake like you're throwing here, and then you're actually throwing the vertical to the tight end. Now, the touchdown you saw a minute ago, Georgia actually did basically the same thing with the tight end, and then they had a vertical behind it. Here's Arch Manning. Obviously, Bobby Petrino runs these kinds of plays. It's not a huge thing so Bobby runs these kinds of plays. It's not a huge part of what he does, but still, this is going to be there. It's practically the same idea. So this time you're doing it with the wide receiver. You have a vertical here, and then behind it, you have this guy faking like he's potentially blocking. You notice he's not just running full speed, because if he was running full speed, either the corner is going to be running with them or this player will peel off and run with them. So it looks like it's just a quick little screen out here to the left, and then he's gone, and he's behind, once again, number 3, who's been very inconsistent for Mississippi State this season. And as you can see, this is a walk-in touchdown for Texas. Mississippi State's run defense was better. They got bailed out, though, by a bad holding call here, so the numbers would have been worse. The main reason I'm showing this clip, though, is they have had horrible tackling issues versus the better teams on their schedule. Now, once again, we'll see Landon Jackson is the best tackle breaker, but can Braylon Russell do this? We know Rashad Dubinion can't really break a tackle, but as you can see in the background, Stone Blanton 7, their Mike, just a bad patty cake. This whole team just patty caked right here with the game on the line basically here. And you should be able to run right at them because they cannot tackle. So let's move to the offensive side of the football. The biggest weakness on this team are their offensive tackles. They were flat out abused in this game. Now, once again, like we showed you, some good blitz pickup reps, but you'll see here that the guy that ended the game versus Arkansas a few weeks ago, Nick Scorton, who's better than any defensive end that Arkansas has, but still Arkansas has really good defensive ends. 76 right tackle is definitely not Charles Cross, to say the least. So you get a lot of pressure off the edge, and you're also forcing Van Buren, a very young quarterback, still early in his development, you're giving him some weird coverage looks. So at the snap, 26, bails center field right here, and the coverage gets not necessarily exotic per se, but it does change, right? The post-snap picture on this 4th and 5, Van Buren is just staring this down the whole way. He feels the pressure, and he kind of just chunks this thing up on the mesh right here, and it's just not something you want to do here on this 4th and 5, and we're going the other way. So, as you can see, when it comes to pass pro, I don't know if I necessarily want to blitz them. I want to see at first, can their offensive tackles block Arkansas's defensive ends, right? Landon Jackson, kind of an up-and-down game versus LSU. That was a really brutal offensive tackle matchup with Emory Jones and Will Campbell there, and now you get a favorable one versus Mississippi State. I couldn't believe this stat when I saw it on Pro Football Focus, but I want to talk about batted down passes. So, obviously, there was a big one in this last game for Arkansas versus LSU. That was essentially a pick 6. So batted down passes could be a bunch of noise, right? A lot of times it is a bunch of bad luck. But Michael Van Buren has a major issue with batted down passes, okay? He is second in the entire nation, which is crazy considering, he just became the quarterback just a few games ago. This ball gets batted down at the line of scrimmage, and if it wasn't, it probably is a first down, and Mississippi State had to end up settling for a field goal. So on 138 dropbacks, 10 of those dropbacks have ended up being tipped or batted down passes. So if you're Arkansas going into this game, Van Buren is a shorter QB. That is something that you must do at the line of scrimmage. And Arkansas actually has some very long-limbed defensive linemen. So that could be a huge factor into this. And on top of it, Van Buren takes a lot of sacks, which you normally expect from a freshman quarterback. Pretty high pressure to sack ratio, and he's had some issues with ball security. I saw his fumbling grade wasn't too high either. So, honestly, Arkansas fans, let me know what you guys think. I do feel you guys are going to go on the road and find a way to win this game. Hopefully, a Braylon Russell breaks out or someone along those lines. But if you want some good news, remember that play design we talked about a minute ago? Bang! Here's Bobby Petrino running it, and bang! Here's another film study. Make sure you check it out. Once again, thanks to Sequoia Dental. It is Power Hour SEC. Boom! And tonight we are doing fried chicken. Let's go!